We've had this intervention. A lot of analysts and political commentators are saying that President Zuma is desperately grasping at straws, that he's lost the initiative, that he's not able, to recraft the social compact that requires all the actors to work together. What is your assessment of the set of measures that has been rolled out by the social partners yesterday?
Well, I think it's an important start, because really what has been missing over the last couple of months is precisely this kind of dialogue between the social partners and attempts to reach compromise. The view that the solution to our problems lies with a strong president who must simply lay down the law is a fantasy, because you can't solve South Africa's economic problems unless business, labour and government are involved in the process. So it's an important step forward, but we mustn't be unrealistic about this. I mean, you heard from those clips you showed there are massive differences between the parties, and I think that if we see this as part of a process that can be built on over time, and we don't have this unrealistic view that we can get them into a room for 3 days and they'll come up with a whole lot of binding agreements, then I think it's a very important step forward for the country.
Mm-hmm. The big issue, of course, is the immediate short-term issues, and then, of course, the longer-term issues. In the short term is restoring some kind of confidence. We've seen quite a lot of violence, quite a lot of lawlessness. We've seen overreaction from the police when we had the Marikana killings, but on the other hand, the police also do need to protect workers who want to resume working. The police is caught between a rock and a hard place, isn't it?
Well, the problem, of course, is that we demolished, in a sense, the skills we need to deal with this situation. I mean, a lot of these strike situations are absolutely tailor-made for public order policing, because what you want to do is a situation where, as you correctly say, people who want to get back to work should be allowed to, but on the other hand, we don't want a situation where the police overreach themselves and do what they do at Marikana. So the problem is, do we have units of police who are skilled enough to actually go in there and protect the workers without actually damaging people's lives? And if we don't have that, then that capacity needs to be created. We've done it in the past as a country, we need to do it again.
The last set of issues are perhaps the most challenging, which is your longer term socio-economic conditions that pertains. There's been a lot of criticism on the police, on the government, but not a lot of task taking of the business sector. Two things stand out. They were supposed to come to the party on social needs of workers. They haven't. And then, of course, also just the decision to sometimes strike deals with striking workers outside of the bargaining chambers. Do you think this agreement that was struck yesterday is going to get them back on track, particularly as it pertains to those two outstanding issues?
Well, I think we need to be realistic. The social conditions issue is part of a process. You're not going to get immediate results. If they, as they committed to do, if they start talking about it, that's progress. I think there will now be, because there was a big backlash in business on this, there will now be pressures on employers not to sign agreements outside the bargaining chamber. I think one of the most important agreements which was made here as a symbolic issue was the salary freeze.
How does that go down? Because we're talking about salary freezes of top executives in the private sector and then, of course, also in the government sector. Do you think people are actually going to buy in, because constituencies must still be brought on board here?
I think that it may be very difficult to get people to buy in, but the important thing about that agreement, even if there isn't the buy-in that's needed, is that it's changed the nature of the debate. We now have an acknowledgement out there that everybody is responsible for the situation, not just government, it's business as well, and really it's got to do with a whole lot of attitudes within the society. And I think that even if it is not enforced, and I would like it to be enforced, even if it's not enforced, it's changed the nature of the debate. And I think that's what interactions like this do. We needn't look at this stage for, is there some miracle plan? Have we changed the nature of the debate so that there's joint responsibility? And if we have, we can move forward.